Good day. I am Kelly Prather, and thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Catching Up with Kelly. I am here with my beautiful, gracious host, Miss LaMonica Duckworth.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good, LaMonica. Just super busy, super busy. I mean, it's the height of campaign season.
Yes.
And one of my campaign consultants, Freeman McNeil, said that they passionately refer to, I guess, September and October as Hell Month. I don't know how you can call anything Hell Month and put passion and hell at the same time, but
Right.
yes, but I'm feeling it. I'm
Because
feeling
you're going to be moving around a lot.
Yes.
Getting involved more.
Yes.
Meeting people.
Exactly. Literally like all day, every day, non-stop.
Wow. You got it. You got this.
I got this. All right. Well, thank you for the I need people like you around me to keep me
Yes.
posted. So what's going on? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you. Just trying to go and try to get this business started for myself.
How's that going?
Oh gosh, roadblock. It's going.
Okay.
It's going. It's just going to be a little. Have to push a little harder, dig in there a little harder, go around some obstacles. But as long as I don't give up,
Right.
and find the right connections.
Okay.
And if you know someone that knows someone, that's the only way. Sometimes you can get through.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm close.
You're close.
Right.
And you know what, LaMonica, ironically, you bring up business. And now, most recently, I don't know if you were familiar with a disparity study that the city of Cincinnati conducted called the Croson Study. So in 2015, there was a Croson study published in July of 2015, excuse me, which basically outlined the fact that women and minority-owned businesses were disproportionately disenfranchised. And so since that time, there has been some strides in terms of helping women-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses. But I think that when you have disparity studies or you create these inclusion policies and inclusion studies, you need to be really specific about who you're going to help. And so it's ironically, you're a black woman trying to start your own business, doing everything right. Okay, so what are some of the obstacles that you faced?
What I kind of background, they want to look and see, no matter what type of background, may it be criminal, may it be family, may it be educational background, it's financial, want to see, I guess from all these other backgrounds they do, if it interferes with financial situations, want to see how you're living. But I know a handful of people who are black female business owners, small black female business owners, that they just pretty much almost kind of like cut through the loop and they have it, and it's like, wow, so it's like, as you say, who are you going to cater to and who won't you cater to? Like, who will you help and who will you not help? Like, where do I fall in that? Why am I going, it's not like the book is being thrown at me, but it's like, why is it so hard? Why is it taking so long? I'm doing everything that they're asking, and it's still like, okay, hold on for a minute. So it's just like, why are you doing this? Is it, to me, I had a conversation with someone. She's a small black business owner. She also knows it was easy for her to open, but it wasn't so easy for a couple of other people, black African American females, to not really open up a small business. They had to go through so much, do so much, pay so much in order to get there, and they wanted to give up. But then it's like, do they want so many black female business owners? Can you have only so many?
Wow.
And then
so is there a quota? Are you asking if there's a quota that you...
Yeah, like, is it a quota? Yes, is it a quota?
Well, you know what? You just bring up some good points. I have 5 college degrees. I have a home health agency here in Cincinnati, and the likelihood or the chances of me just getting a contract through the city has been so difficult. And you bring up a good point. Like I said, it's not what you know a lot of times, is who you know. And these connections make all the difference.
Yes.
What I've also realized is that it's almost like, I mean, are these pay-to-play schemes, or what's really going on? Do you have to pay to get into this network? Because unfortunately, if you don't have any money, LaMonica,
It's money.
if you're poor, if you're from a certain community, you are pretty much out of luck.
Yes, it's about money. They even have it to the point of where if they file the paperwork for you, it's almost like $1,000.
Yes.
But if you do it yourself, it's like 200, 300, 500, something like that. Really
Yeah.
cheap.
Right.
But it's like, it's a whole lot of paperwork. And they
Right.
stress to you that, it's all this paperwork. You're going to have to do it and make sure it's right. But if you want us to fill everything out and make sure it's absolutely correct, you just have to pay us all this money.
Right.
But then they say there's little programs that will help and it's suitable for single mothers or people who have some type of issues or don't have an issue, but then it's like you don't know about it if you don't know someone who's went through it and successfully completed it. And then sometime when you get into it, it's too late. So it's almost like a home ownership program, If you don't have the cash and if you can't get a home, if you can't get a loan from, the bank or something, there's a program that will help you. But a lot of people don't know about that unless they know someone and know someone. So it's hard. It's the same way with trying to get a business together.
Yeah, it is. And you brought up another interesting point. The city of Cincinnati has a certification program for WBE and MBE, business enterprise, minority business enterprise, and women business enterprise. And I'm wondering, why do you have to go through the city to get certification? I've owned and operated a business, a professional corporation in New York for 9 years, and the city never required me to go through certification to get prime contracts in the city of New York City. A perfect example is I got a contract through the New York City Department of Education, billing for occupational, treating my patients and billing for services as an independent contractor. And it didn't take a special program in order for me to do that. So to me, and I'm really interested, I'm a candidate for Cincinnati City Council,
Yes.
but I'm really interested in getting in there and seeing what is this all about? Like, what is the certification all about? I mean, I know that, it gives you priority standing, but at the same time, are they getting funded, like federal funds, to have so many businesses under their auspices, or what's really going on with that? I'm really concerned, and I think that small businesses who are not affiliated with the city, they have a right to know what's going on. So, and I think that, and a lot of times when I say things like that, people misperceive what I'm saying. It's not that I'm going in to expose an individual. It's just trying to help people to navigate through the system. We need to know. And so, in a true democracy, you have a right to either be a part of something or go on your own. So,
yeah, it's that one thing, and a lot of us, what I've seen up personal, close and personal, is a lot of small Black business owners. They're open, but they're only open for so long, and then it's like there's different little small Black businesses that we don't see out here that a lot of people want to be. Let me put it this way: it's almost like every little small Black business you see is almost of the same thing. If it's the cosmetology world, we have like 3 or 4 hair salons or barbershops in the same block.
yeah.
And then, we have a lot of talent. There's people who have clothing lines who sit there and who are seamstress. And we don't have a lot of them, but the ones that you do see, they're sitting on the same block downtown.
Right.
And it's just like, why are you guys that close?
Right.
Why can't we just split it up? Why do we have to have the same small Black businesses on the same block, competition-wise, and then see where the money is going to go, so they can shut down and so they can get more money from somewhere else for someone else to get that space. But then it's going to be hard because it's going to be more money. It's just something is not adding up here. You know, it's just so many things.
And now that I'm out in the forefront of politics, I'm finding that a lot don't add up. The one thing I want to say, before I go off on that topic is you make a good point. Unfortunately, African Americans are relegated to certain industries, and it's not right. I mean, we're relegated to the cosmetology, beauty and barber industry, retail, like we can start a little boutique or a little mom and pop store. And there's so many other industries like the tech industry, media, like, what you and I are getting into at the Ohio Media School. There is, foreign trade that you can get into. You can get into interstate commerce. There's a lot of different industries we can get into development, contract negotiation. There's a lot more that we can actually be involved in. But I think that here, I don't know if it's regional, if this is distinct to Cincinnati, but here it's like we're encouraged to go into certain markets, even in healthcare.
Yeah.
I was never encouraged to be a doctor. I was encouraged to be a CNA, a state tested nurse's aide, or
I used to be
a law. Yeah, and I took the state test. Took the test to become a state tested nurse's aide right after high school.
Me too.
When I went to Cincinnati State, but it's like, okay, I have this, but this is not what I want to do. So once I, got that was fully exposed to the healthcare industry, I'm like, I can go as far as I want to go. So I made the decision to be an occupational therapist. But you make a great point. We're just relegated to certain industries, and there's so much more to us.
See, I was I want to say it was last year. Yeah, it was last year sometime when my daughter really decided that politics was where she was going to be. Like, I'm going to be in the White House one day because I have to help our people and other people, not just our people, but any and everyone that doesn't have fast money, equal opportunity, as they say. And what was that caught our attention was they stated Hamilton County. And they said, because a caller, I wanted to say her name was Terry. Tracy was her name. She would always call her. For some reason, she gets through the line all the time.
Right.
And they were talking about certain topics. And she said, they said, well, who are you? And Tracy from Cincinnati. And a topic was about Hamilton County, no matter what it is, for us to be such a small place, have a lot of talent here, that we don't have the opportunity, the funds, the access to do what it is we have to do. May it be with the legal system, may it be with child support, may it be with this healthcare system, may it be with whatever it is you desire to do. It's hard for anything. It's like they keep you in a bucket and put you there, and either you're going to climb up out of this little bucket and get somewhere, or you're just going to stay there,
right,
and be subject to what it is that you have. And she said she doesn't feel that she should have to leave to go somewhere else, to get a better opportunity to do something with her life, especially when you love your hometown as much as you do.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that is true.
And I think I've shared this experience with you. I'm originally from Cincinnati, but I lived in New York City from 2005 until 2014. And I always tell people, well, you know what, let me retract that statement. I worked in New York City. I will tell people that I worked in New York and I live in Ohio. And from 2005, until 2008, I was comfortable in New York, but I started getting homesick. And I said, I'm ready to go home. And so I tried to transition full-time from New York back to Cincinnati, because like you said, you should not have to leave home to make a living for yourself, or a decent living. And unfortunately, there was so much red tape involved that I could not get a credential.
Yes.
It was so easy for me to just be up and running in New York within 60 and 90 days, get patient, go and market myself in multiple or throughout the 5 boroughs, get business everywhere. But in Cincinnati, that was not my experience. But going back to what you were saying about you having to be in like a bucket, that just, I think we kind of processed, or we answered our question as far as the certification process. Why do you have to go through the city certification process? Because they want to keep you in a bucket. They want to be fully informed about what you got going on, your financials, so that they can control you. It's a control thing. So we answered it.
Yeah, it is. And we know that the government is nothing but
control.
It's control.
It's a control measure. Wow.
They're the only ones that can control us, but we're supposed to be, free and be able to do this and do that. I mean, the politics of it can be so frustrating.
Yes.
And then when you get to the point of when you voicing it and when you telling them like, this is how we all feel, someone wants to shut you down.
Exactly.
We can't have that anymore. We have to.
LaMonica, they want to shut you down, or they want to treat you like you are crazy. They want to talk to you and approach you as if you have no idea what you're talking about. You know, they want to start throwing out these elaborate reports and saying, well, this is what we're doing and that is what we're doing. I mean, it's just, it really blows me away when I think about it, because it's like, you know who to put in place to dress up your scheme, you know, your corporate schemes, and make it sound good. And so when we talked about they're only allowing a certain amount of businesses in this area, that area, this is just yet another quota system, because what they're doing is they're outlining a percentage of businesses, of city funding to go towards these specific businesses. That's what they're doing. And so this is a quota system.
Wow.
This is a quota system based on how much money is coming out of, how much money is going to be allocated out of the city's budget. And what I'm finding is that what they're awarding from year to year, it does not equal what's actually being spent. And so what I think we definitely need to do is we need to have a comprehensive review of multiple years of comprehensive annual financial reports to get to the bottom of it, to see what was actually awarded, what was actually spent, who the money actually went to. Another trick with the designation of WBE, women-owned businesses, and minority-owned businesses, a woman, you know, you and I, if I were married, my husband, my fiance would have been an African-American man. And so if I would have been the face of his company, I would have been the black woman who was the face of my African-American or my black husband's company. It's the same difference. So if you have a white couple who's married, he wants to put his wife's name on the company. She's a woman, she meets the quota, and so bam, that's a way of strategically for them to still be able to monopolize the market. But they don't trust that we think about that. You know, so are we really doing a service? Are we doing a disservice? Did we do a service or a disservice? Or was it that we were not intentional enough in determining who we wanted to give those contracts to?
And what makes them determine that, though?
Right.
Oh, gosh.
And then a minority could be anyone. You could have a minority Hispanic, a Latino
Asian,
family,
yeah.
Asian. Minority is not specific to the African American community, to the black community. But unfortunately, you know, I'm pro-black, and I'm really passionate about leveling the playing field and making sure that we get our fair share of whatever is available, distributing the resources appropriately. And we just need to be intentional about saying this percentage, if we have to play the percentage, if we have to play the quota game, is going to black businesses.
And that's why we need you, because you're getting it done, you're letting us know, and if we don't know people who want to be small business owners or who are small business owners, and then when their businesses are to the point of where they're thinking it's going to close down, they're not getting any answers as to, well, hey, I had the money for this, I met this and I met that, so why am I about to be shut down? For what? So it's like, you know, we need someone like you to be on the inside of it to deliver.
We need someone on the inside, we need people on the outside. You know, with any movement, just like you've heard me say this before, the civil rights movement was effective because of Martin and because of Malcolm. Malcolm would not have been effective without Martin, and Martin would not have been effective without Malcolm, period, point blank. We need people to approach situations from different angles. And that's it. And then we need insiders, we need people who are out, and that's just how a well-organized system works. And I'm not saying we need that so that we could start a revolution or anything like that. We just need insiders to understand who can articulate what's going on to the people who are outside.
And for people who don't truly understand, like me
That's
per se, you know,
That's
some questions need to be answered, and for people who don't understand fully of what is going on, have someone who does understand, who can break it down and let all people know, hey, this is exactly what's going on, you know. So.
And keyword was break it down, because a lot of times, and even still, like I said, I'm well educated, I'm an intelligent black woman, but even still they try to talk over your head. You know, they try to throw out the language, the political language, or the language of that arena, and they trust that you don't know. Google was the best thing. Like, oh, well, if you're trying to figure out what they're trying to say, just Google it. but once you're in an environment for so long, you start to learn the language based on hearing it so much. But like I said, you can always research information, but you need people in those positions who can speak in a language that, in layman's terms, where the everyday person can understand exactly what they're saying to communicate it to the masses.
Because they use it to throw other people off who it's not in a loophole.
That's right.
It's not around them all the time. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
They use it to throw people off, and then they have these fancy dressed up reports with these numbers. They put people in place who can just or who can make it look good, but at the end of the day, it's just paper. It's just paper.
Trying to cover up something.
Trying to cover up something. Unfortunately, that's the case in a lot of a lot of instances. The other thing you said is that you were wondering, we were talking about how they just convolute stuff. Things are just like, everything is just combined. Let me tell you a perfect example was yesterday on the campaign trail. They had the Department of Community and Economic Development kickoff, and the Department of Community Economic Development outlines different plots of land throughout the city that are going to be renovated or developed. And so they had investors or developers go in and just see what's going to be available throughout the city. Okay, so they had that at the same time as the kickoff for the Department of Economic Inclusion. And so they made it look good because you have a whole bunch of small business owners and African Americans over in this remote location while the developers are over here. But sadly, they also had a forum for ballot issues in a different location. So it's like, okay, well, do you want me to know what's on the ballot? Do you want me to understand? Do you want me to be a part of the development? Do you want me to be inclusion? With the understanding that you're only going to get a small piece of the pie with the inclusion. You're not going to have access to these development opportunities where they start asking for RFPs or requests for proposals. You're not going to really get an opportunity to get a piece of the pie, the real chunk of land, so that you can be invested in the city and have ownership. But the kicker is there was a fourth event that was going on, the free speech event that was for in support of the public library of Cincinnati, Hamilton County. So that was the core event.
Was all of these coincided around the same time?
At the same time, between 5:30, the one event, Department of Community and Economic Development, was from 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay.
The free speech event, 6 to 8. The economic inclusion event, 5:30 to 7:30. And the ballot issue forum was 6 to 8. How in the world are you supposed to be fully informed and fully engaged in what's going on in your community, and they have all this going on at the same time?
And spread it all throughout the city.
Exactly. We have 365 days of the year. You want to wait just before the election to start having all these forums, but then have them at the same time to keep people confused. They don't want us to be informed, LaMonica.
Right, we see that.
Yes, they don't want us to be informed. And, what do you do? What do you do?
Oh gosh, it gets you a little come on now. We want to know. We love our city so much.
Yes.
We love America.
Yes.
Why are we in a loophole?
Right.
Let us all be great together.
Right. They want to keep us in the dark. They want to keep us in the dark. They want to keep us divided. And so going back to what you said, that's why we need key people in these positions who understand, who can articulate what's going on. And so sometimes I think, why me? What is this about? And it's because God has put me in this position so that I can be a voice and help people to understand exactly what's going on.
Yes.
Everything's thrown together all at the same time, intentionally. It's intentional. So it's not like it's systemic. Well, the systemic injustice exists, but it's by design. Everything is by design. So, we just went off about all those issues, but we have 5 minutes, and I do want to talk about some of the things that are going on. I see you have some things. Well, what do you have there?
Yeah, so we had saved the date for the Freedom Fund dinner. It's Saturday, October 21st.
Oh, that's through the NAACP. Okay.
Yes. And then also I have a couple, because we got 5 minutes probably for now. This was the same one. We also have the Cincinnati NAACP in Prince Hall And this is on October 3rd, 2017 from 6 to 8:30. And Regina Carswell Russo and Lincoln Ware will be some of our hosts.
Wow, that should be
Yeah,
exciting.
I know.
That should be exciting. I think I'm on that panel. And Lincoln Ware is always really interesting. I hear that the forum that took place this past Tuesday was not well attended. So prayerfully, it'll be better attended. I know that by the time this show airs, that the forum will have ended. But hopefully, I mean, we will upload it so that people can see like what the candidates actually said during that. But I have something interesting. We have a voter education forum that's going to take place on Wednesday, October 4th.
Okay.
So, and then Devin, I don't know if you know Devin Johnson. He was a barber and the owner of Incredible Creations with his wife Kimberly Johnson, and he died. He went to Withrow and he died in a really bad motorcycle accident, but everybody loved him. And his wife, there's a Devin Day, and it's actually taking place and I would love for you to attend this with me if you're not busy, at Jack Casino. So he was really good friends with Bill Bellamy, Owen, the comedian.
From here.
Yes.
Yeah. Gosh, you got me lost real quick. But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but he was the barber to the stars, and just Gary Owen. Sorry,
Yeah.
Gary. Gary's a member of our church too, New Prospect Baptist Church. I should have known him. He will.
He's going to talk about you.
He's going to talk about me. So Gary, we love you.
Yeah.
And he has a beautiful wife too. So I'm sure Gary Owen will be there. Bill Bellamy may come through. Kim will be there. She's writing a book, and so I think that it'll be her book release on that day. So that'll be a really exciting event at Jack Casino next Wednesday, October 4th.
Would love to go.
From 6 to 8. So yeah, we'll get dressed up and go and just have a good time.
Oh, yeah.
So, as always, Monica, I just really love co-hosting this show with you.
Thank you, and I love it too.
Yeah, so I want to give you an opportunity to just, have a minute or so to just talk about some things that you got going on or whatever you want to share with the audience.
Oh, well.
Or where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook at LaMonica Duckworth, WordPress at LaMonica Miss Sin Duckworth. Find me on Twitter as LaMonica Miss Sin Duckworth. And you can also find me at OMS. I'll be doing a couple of things with them. And also next to this lovely, beautiful lady,
Well, thank you, Monica.
soon to be our city councilwoman, trying to learn things with you and just.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So again, thank you so much for tuning in to Catching Up with Kelly. As always, you can find me on Kelly for the People. On my website is kellyforthepeople.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On Facebook, Kelly with an I, Kelly Prather. On Twitter and Instagram, I am Kelly for Cincy. And of course, I'm the host of Catching Up with Kelly, or one of the co-hosts of Catching Up with Kelly and Kelly's Commentary. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless and goodbye.